another terrific Tuesday Talks with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Kellogg, your hostess, and I'm super excited today to be joined by Michael Whitehouse. Bridge. What bridge are you joining us from, Michael?
I'm not sure. It's whatever stock photo I had handy. I mean, the bridge of the guy who knows a guy.
The bridge of the... I'm like, let's get big so we can see the bridge.
Yeah. According to the icon in the corner, it's Star Trek Online. So.
Oh, interesting. All right. I don't know about Star
Trek. I am a geek,
Online.
but I also have ADHD, so I just kind of grab whatever I can find.
I get you. Welcome, Michael. Super excited to have you here with us. Where from?
In real life, Connecticut, which is in the Northeast United States to our international friends.
What part of Connecticut are you in?
I'm in Mystic, right near the sub base.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about up there?
Yeah, for anyone who's like a Tom Clancy fan or whatever, if you ever read any submarine books, they talk about, when I went to school in Groton, that's here. That's the town I live in. Every submariner in the United States goes through this town because where the sub school is.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, is there a lot of people that go through that school, or it's probably a very small group?
Well, I mean, the United States has something like 60% of the submarines in the world. So, yeah, a few people. But compared to the total armed forces, it's small.
Yeah.
But the submarine force probably has more personnel than the total militaries of maybe 110 countries. So, pretty decent number of people, but it's not, it's one of the smaller bases by U.S. military standards.
Gotcha. I was a client of mine, her husband is in the Coast Guard, and like their goal is to have like 300 active like flyer diver type people. And I'm like, what a small group. So now I'm interested to see. I might have to go to AI and ask it, how many people exactly do we have on submarines in the United States?
Yeah, I was talking to, I was at a birthday party for my daughter's friend, and I was talking to an executive officer on a submarine. At first, it was interesting was I met 3 executive officers, and none of them introduced themselves. I said, what do you do? None of them ever say, I'm an executive officer. What they say is, well, I kind of do some administrative work and a lot of HR operations kind of stuff. I'm like, and after they describe it, say, oh, are you an XO? Yes, I am. I guess no one knows what an XO is, which surprised me but of course, I'm a Tom Clancy fan and a geek, and I watch Battlestar Galactica and I watch Space Doc videos. If you don't know Space Doc, it's a YouTube channel, really fun. They do like serious analysis of sci-fi topics. But so like, I know what an XO is because I'm a big geek. But anyway, he was saying, we were talking about, the relative size of the U.S. military is 37% of global defense spending.
No.
So 1/3 of the military force in the world is ours. And I believe our Coast Guard is I think he said the U.S. Coast Guard is the 7th largest naval force in the world. Like the Coast Guard alone is bigger than the navies, than all but the largest navies in the world in terms of number of vessels.
Man, we could totally geek out all day. Thanks all for joining us. We're here with Tuesday Talks with Michael Whitehouse. And geeking out and nerding out is definitely something that you know about. Because part of the reason that I asked you here today, not the only reason, but part of the reason we wanted to have you join us today is because you have an event coming up on August 8th. And like y'all, there's a reason why I went with this segue. I know sometimes I'm usually like, tell me about your business and stuff. We're just jumping right into this because we're going to go with the flow. So tell us about what you have going on August 8th.
So August 8th is the Entrepreneur Summit. And this is Entrepreneur Episode 8, The Summit Awakens. Episode 8. Episode 7, The Summit Awakens. It's on the 8th. And this is, of course, the 7th one, which this is the first time that the episode number has matched, because the first one was Episode 4, A New Summit. And then Episode 5, A Summit Strikes Back. You can probably get the theme. You see the background, the whole thing going on here. And the concept is, it is the overlap of geek and entrepreneurship. And so some people get confused. They're like, oh, it's for like IT businesses. No, it is for entrepreneurs who happen to be geeks. And actually, the phrase I came up with a while ago is that if you have a sword, a spaceship, a dragon, or a TARDIS in your office, then this is an event for you. So it's not for nerdy entrepreneurs who are doing computery stuff or whatever. It's for the kind of entrepreneurs like, I want to go to a summit with the enterprise in the background. That's my kind of event. and it's serious entrepreneurship topics. It's about, time management and sales and marketing and mindset and money and all that kind of stuff. But it's got that fun theme on it because you could go to a virtual summit every day of the year round without stop and still miss a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
This information's everywhere. You can find it anywhere. You can read it in books. You can watch YouTube channels, listen to podcasts. So when I run summits, and by the way, the Entrepreneur Summit is one of about 20 summits I'm running this year. But this is the cool one that Tiffany's speaking on, and the one that's lots of fun, so we're talking about it. But with all my summits, this information's everywhere. There's nothing on a summit that you're going to learn you can't find somewhere else. And in fact, I find with a lot of these, generally, if you have a big speaker or a smaller name, the content they're going to share on the summit is almost as good as what's on their YouTube channel. Because their best stuff's going to go on their own channel, right? That's what they're promoting. So if the summit is just going and listening to a bunch of people yak at you, and especially like pre-recorded summits, you go to a website, they'll like hit play, watch a video, watch YouTube. Their best stuff's on YouTube. Their second best stuff's in the summit. So that's not, to me, to my mind, that's not worth going to. So I create an experience. I create an event, not a place with a bunch of speakers, an event that you, the viewer, the participant, are a participant of. I call them participants, not attendees, because you're not an attendee. You're a participant. You can ask questions. There's going to be breakout rooms. We do hot seats. Those are the best. Hot seat is an audience member gets to raise their hand and say, hey, I've got a challenge with whatever. I can't figure out how to, I got 3 kids and I'm working from home and I can't figure out how to keep my business focused. What do you guys got? And then every speaker at the event will share their insights. And some of them, it's their area of expertise. Some of them is more of a secondary area of expertise. And others just like, here's what works in my business and here's my experience. And it's incredibly valuable because the audience member, obviously, it's valuable. The rest of the audience, it's valuable because often you don't know a question to ask. And someone else asks a question, you're like, that's my question too. I didn't even know. And then for the speakers, it's phenomenal because anyone can give a 15-minute talk on a topic and sound good. I could memorize a 15-minute talk on, nuclear chemistry or something and sound like I know what I'm talking about, but just had memorized the talk. But you give me a question off the cuff, that's when you discover if I actually know something. So we give the speakers a chance to really show off, really stand out in that way. But the whole thing is, it is an event that you are part of, which is why, like, some people ask, hey, have you published the schedule? I don't publish the schedule. Well, I do. The event starts at 11, it ends at 5. That's the schedule. At 11, you get there, we're going to have a bunch of awesome stuff happening in between, and then we're going to end at 5. Because I don't want you cherry picking, saying, oh, well, my favorite speaker's on at 2 o'clock. Great. But the speaker you don't know you need to know, or the person you don't know you need to meet in a breakout room, or the hot seat you're going to learn stuff about, we don't even know when that's going to happen because that ends up being played by ear. So it really is, if you're used to those typical blah, 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 come here, click play, watch videos, or, sit and listen summits, then you have no idea what we're doing. I've actually started calling them summit masterminds because they really are more like that. They have a lot of mastermind elements in them compared. I mean, I've been to masterminds with less masterminding than my summits. So that's why I started calling them summit masterminds, because they really are interactive events.
Now, what if somebody's saying, Michael, this sounds absolutely amazing. I don't think
TARDIS or a dragon.
A dragon. Okay.
Yeah.
And it used to just be a spaceship, a dragon, or a sword. And then you added, the TARDIS in, if I remember correctly.
I think I came up with the list because of your TARDIS closet.
That's how for those of y'all that haven't seen the inside of my office, and this will be where I'm speaking out for the Entrepreneur Summit, there is my TARDIS closet that my husband made me, which is like such a really cool thing. He's not necessarily like, he watches a little Who with me. He's really into the new both Star Trek and Star Wars. Now he's loving, he didn't really like Picard, which I think you understand because I think you are struggling with Picard a little bit too. Discovery's into,
I feel like I'm doing homework when I watch Picard. Like, I should watch it because it's a good, like, you need to watch it. Like, okay, I guess I should watch another Picard episode.
And my husband's like, when does Lower Decks start back? Because it is a little cartoony, but like, we haven't seen a lot of those characters before,
Mhm.
and there's something light and frivolous and 20-minute episodes and
Yep.
tons
Yeah, I
of
think
Easter eggs.
I've started going back and watching Voyager again. And what I like about Voyager, and Star Trek Next Generation to some degree as well, but Voyager has a storyline, but the individual story is wrapped up in that episode. Because my life is full of confusion and chaos and uncertainty and whatnot. I kind of want the dramatic storylines to be tied up when I stop watching. So if I watch a Picard episode, what one of them ends in Riker's yelling at Picard, angry at him, which first off is out of character, just bad writing. But second, it's like, we're all going to die and it's your fault. Get out of here. I'm like, what? That's not how I want to leave an episode. So whereas, with Voyager, unless it's a two-parter, then when the episode's over, they're back to baseline. And, one light year closer to Earth. But
Janeway's like, continue going home.
Yeah, it's not unless it's a two-parter or something like that. They're not in existential danger. They're back to it. They take off. The nacelles come up. They go to warp, and they're off to the next thing. So I kind of like that.
So are you right now currently actively rewatching Voyager?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just curious, where are you at?
Yeah, I never got past season 2 or 3 actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm
currently actively in the rewatching. And they just built the Delta Flyer. That's like the episode that I just watched.
Yeah, I got as far as that last time, but I'm on episode 2 now. Because I was trying where did I leave off? I don't know, so long ago. I'm just gonna start at episode 1.
And Voyager was actually my start in the Star Trek canon. I don't know how that happened.
Although it's funny, I was watching episode 1, at the end I'm like, wait a minute. So they left the
Deep Space Nine.
No. They left the people, the ones who live 9 years.
Okampa.
The ones underground. The Okampa. They left the Okampa. They're like, yeah, you got 5 years of power. Good luck, guys. We're out of here. See ya. Hopefully the Kazon don't eat you. They didn't do anything to try to settle that situation. They could have gone back to the Kazon and be like, hey, how about we give you 3 Olympic swimming pools of water and you not kill the Okampa for us? Could you do that? They could have done something. They're like, nope. All right, well, we're good. Time to go home. See you later. And they don't talk about it again. I'm like, that's a little, I guess our work here is done. But to answer your question, if you like hanging out with geeky people, there's no gatekeeping. When someone shows up, we're not like, what? Now, if you're a speaker, there's a bit of gatekeeping. I do ask speakers when they apply, what is your geekiness? Because this is an event for geeks. It is to entertain geeks and support geeks, and it's a place to feel welcome. And so much entrepreneurship, especially if you're new to it, you're like, I don't really know. I'm not making enough money. I'm not this. I'm not that. But at least entrepreneur, if you're geeky, you fit in for that. And we've got that common factor. So, but for an attendee, if it seems like a fun event, come to it. We're not going to go to any attendee and be like, why are you here? You're here to learn and meet cool people, obviously. Why are you here? Because we're awesome. That's why you're here. Maybe you want to become a geek. I don't know. I had one speaker who applied who clearly did not read the description. And I shared this in my email list. She put in this talk title of Unnerd Yourself. Mm-hmm. I guess she talks to IT professionals and whatnot, people who are awkwardly nerdy. And of course, nerd historically has meant really socially awkward and all up in their head and no charisma. So I get it. But the event's called Entrepreneur. So her title was Unnerd Yourself. And I replied, I'm like, I think maybe that's not the right title. And so she replied with a couple other options. And I'm like, I'm not getting any geek vibe from this person. So I replied, I'm like, so what is your geekiness? She's like, oh, I didn't realize I had to be a geek to apply. I'm like, the description of this event is about 7 sentences. And one of them says something like, if you're a geek entrepreneur, this is an event for you. Which does not explicitly say if you're not a geek entrepreneur, it's not an event for you. But yeah, not all speakers read the applications of all the things they apply to. I don't know if you know this. This may surprise you.
Just like people read all the emails or all the instructions or all
that's actually why I do speaker meetings for my speaker. The first reason I do speaker meetings is that speakers tell me the greatest value they get from my events is meeting other speakers. So I'm like, let's facilitate that. Let's have a meeting of the speakers and let them connect with each other. But the second reason is I say everything you need to know has been sent to you in writing, and I assume none of you have read it. So now I'm going to answer all your questions, and don't worry about if it's been in 17 emails. You can still ask the question because I'll just tell you now, because that's how I work. If you send me 3 pages of information about an event I'm speaking, I'll be like, yeah, I know this. Yep, sure. Yeah, yeah. And then 2 days later, I've forgotten what I read anyway. So that's why every email includes all the information you need. Because it drives me nuts when I don't speak on a lot of other people's summits, partly because I run them. So I'm like, this, my way is the best way. That's why I do it. If it wasn't the best way, I'd change it, make it the best way. So when I'm on someone else's summit and I get 2 reminder emails total leading up to the event, and I get the first one, I'm like, remind me again of the date of this. What was I talking about? Like, there's no information.
Right.
It's all, oh, that went out in one of the previous emails. Okay.
Just send it to me again.
Because here's the thing, too, is I'm probably on your email list if I'm a speaker at your event. And most people use the same email address, which you shouldn't do. Most use the same email address for their mass emails as they do for private emails, as they do for emails to their speakers. You should use different emails for that for various reasons. But so I search, and I'm searching for, Susie Summit, and I get 13 emails about the upcoming summit, so promotional stuff, and I can't find any information. And so often the subject lines are something like, excited to have you on board, but not the summit title or anything like it. So I'm like, what do I want? And that's why for my speakers, I send out an email every day for the 14 to 20 days leading up to it. So that way, if you're like, sorry, I wasn't paying attention, no problem. Next email comes tomorrow. You don't have to go back and look for everything. So, but I know you were paying attention because you caught the bad link yesterday.
I did, yeah, because I went and I'm like, let me get some stuff, and I'm like, that ain't right.
There's
and you fixed it quickly.
Yeah, in my spreadsheet, there's 2 links. One is the internal link for me to look at registration numbers, and the other is the document with all the copy and whatnot. And so I apparently clicked the wrong one because they're both long URL gibberish. So I clicked on the wrong one apparently and copied it, and out it went. But yeah, it's in every single email. So yeah, because invariably I used to, like, every 3rd or 4th email I would include the swipe copy and such, and invariably the one where I didn't send someone, hey, where do I get the links? Where do I get the copy? Oh, it was in yesterday's email. It'll be in tomorrow. Now I just put in all of them because why not make it easy? But yeah, so back to the event for the people who aren't speakers. If you do want to be a speaker, by the way, summits.fun. I run a whole lot of summits. And,
I was going to say, because the entrepreneur is not the only thing you do.
Yeah. So I actually have 3 summits the next 3 weeks. Entrepreneurs at the end of that cycle. On the 25th, I had the Win More Dream Client Summit. On the 1st, I had the Course Creators Summit, Summit Mastermind. And on the 8th is Entrepreneur. And then on the 29th is the 6-Figure Event Summit. So that's just what's coming up between now and the end of August. If someone looked at summits.fun and said, oh, these are just your summits, right? They're you and partners. I'm like, no, these are all mine. She's like, this year? And I said, no, that's all this quarter. So yeah, I guess other people don't run as many summits as I do. I have it very much down to a science and a rhythm. So for me, running 3 summits in 3 weeks is less effort than most people running 1 summit itself. And I think it's partly because it is so interactive. There's I don't need to pre-record things. I don't need to interview people. I don't need to set up a whole website and whatnot. So I need to make sure you all can get to a Zoom room and make the Zoom room awesome. But yeah, at summits.fun, everything is for entrepreneurs. But other than that, I've got one on health. I got one on philanthropy. I've got one on speaking, one on running events. On October 10th or 10/10, because they're 10 out of 10, I have the Epic Legendary Summit, where I've invited the top 10 of the top promoters of all of my summits. I've done about 45 of them now. And I had this idea of what if I had the best of the best all at one event? One, that event would be huge because it's the best promoters of all my summits together.
Yeah.
But 2, that event would be cool. So, and of course the date's got to be 10/10, because what other date you're going to put I guess I could do it on 11 something because this one goes to 11. But anyway, yeah. So it's going to be 10/10, and I'm really looking forward to that one. The graphics for that one, if you go to Summit.fun, you'll see it. I went for an epic legendary vibe. Thanks to AI, I could draw a dragon playing an electric guitar on top of a mountain surrounded by lightning. Because that's about as epic legendary as I could think of. So, but yeah, so I run all kinds of events, and it's all about creating that kind of community and space where you're really part of something. Because when in 2020, when things went online, I was really excited about the potential events and what they could do. Because I hear about these events, but I didn't have the money to travel and get the hotel and pay for the ticket. I went to a free event. I got a free ticket to an event last month. Cost me about $1,000 to go, because to go to the free event, I had to travel there. I had to take time off from other activities. I had to stay somewhere. I had to eat food. I had do all this stuff. Cost about $1,000. So, when a free event's $1,000, and all these paid events have $1,000, $2,000 tickets, I wasn't able to go to them. And then things went online. I said, "Oh, I can go to these things. It's gonna be so great." Except the events I found weren't events.
Yeah.
They were just, some were pre-recorded, some were like live. One of my top 10 things I detest is the phrase like live. I like to start by lying to my audience and pretending I'm really here when I'm actually not. So don't get me started on that one. But so I went to all these events. I said, these aren't events. And that's when I started running my own. So I said, I'm going to run an event. No one ever taught me to run an event because I've been running live events before, mostly sci-fi conventions. And I said, I know how to use Zoom. I know what an event should be. Let's build it. So I started building events that were really events and connection spaces. And the high point, the apotheosis of that is JV Connect, which is a networking event that I built, which is just pure connection. So there's no speakers, there's no long pitches, there's no big upsell. It is just a specially structured set of breakout rooms so that people really feel like they're at a networking mastermind. And actually, JV Connect proved me wrong. I used to always say you can't form real relationships at an event. It's all in the follow-up. The event is a place to meet people. The fall is a place for relationships. And I proved myself wrong by running an event where people actually built relationships, because this space was well enough designed for connection. They had enough time to do it. So
I know you've mentioned a ton of events. We've got the JV Connect coming in September. We've got the 10/10 event in October, which I'm going to go to the website just to see the image. You've got 3 summits coming up. The Entrepreneur, which is in a couple of weeks, is the 3rd of the 3. And so we can find all of that online at summits.fun, right?
Yet you can.
As well as you've got some stuff going on. Like, I'm an active Facebook gal. I get not everybody's active on Facebook, but you've got some stuff going on Facebook even where people can hang out, right?
I do. Well, yeah. So I've actually I created a circle group. Circle's kind of like a private Facebook. And so if you go to guywhoknowsaguy.com/circle, that's how people can get in there. Because I did create some Facebook groups. JV Connect has a group, and I'm going to do a 5-day challenge next week called the Profitable Networking Challenge. And then there was a problem with the Facebook group is you're dependent on the Facebook algorithms as to whether or not anyone sees anything.
Yeah.
I said, wouldn't it be cool? So I'm still going to put the content in the Facebook group, but the main thing is going to be in the Circle group, which is free to be part of. But that way I can control it, so it's not up to the algorithms, and you're not going to, if you use, I've had people who went live on random things, and the algorithm decided they said a bad word or something, and boom, they're off for 30 days. Or they can't go live. They can't access their account, which is crazy. That, you do so, you put up a Facebook Live, they lock your account. You can't access your groups. You can't access your pages you run. But meanwhile, Facebook's trying to convince you to build your business on there and advertise there and run everything through it. But they'll lock you out of everything, including your ads account, if you, if you do something on a live they don't like, which is crazy. So anyway, which not say I don't use Facebook. I just, as my friend James Hipkins says, when you build on any social media, you're building on rented land. And then I always add to that, and your landlord's a lunatic.
That you can't actually talk to.
Yeah.
That, arbitrarily makes rules, and you have to follow them because that's the agreement that you signed when you signed in.
Although I have to give a shout out to LinkedIn. My LinkedIn account got hacked. I contacted support, interestingly, through Facebook. I could not find the right place on LinkedIn through LinkedIn support because, of course, you have to log into LinkedIn. So I sent them I sent the LinkedIn page on Facebook a message that sent me back. The automated response actually parsed what I said, oh, you got hacked. Here's the link you need. I went to that link, filled out the form. Within about 36 hours, they had it back under my control.
That's excellent.
So, yeah. Unlike Instagram, where I've lost 3 accounts and never been able to get to anyone, and Facebook, where I got no help either, but got lucky and got it back. LinkedIn, I appreciate there's at least one social media platform out there that does provide some customer service to deal with the hacking facilitated by their sloppy security.
And it happens to be the most professional of them. I wonder if there's anything to be said there. Anyway, so Michael, I want to ask, if somebody was thinking, ooh, I might want to be a speaker at one of Michael's summits or a summit in general, what would you tell people to think about and consider if they're thinking, hey, I want to come and do a summit for Michael?
Well, first, I'm going to share what I found, which is the Epic Legendary Summit graphic that you're asking about. There it is, because it's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Awesome, epic, and legendary. Then I'm going to answer your question, but yeah. So actually, I originally made the graphic in like early DALL-E when it was still like looked like it was being drawn with chalk, and it wasn't quite as good. And then when the newer level came out, I'm like, wait, I have the technology. We can build it now. So you want to be a speaker on a summit? So the first thing that I say is the same thing I say with anyone who wants to do anything. The first coaching question, which is, why do you want to do that? And every answer is okay as long as it's yours. So a perfectly valid answer is, I like talking to people. Cool, good reason. A perfectly valid answer is, I want to build my audience. I want to sell more. I want to reach more people. But what is the end goal? Because half the reasons people want to speak on summits aren't served by summits. So most summits will get you I can't speak to other people's summits. I've spoken at a bunch of summits and I have no idea what I'm supposed to have gotten out of it, but I didn't get much.
Yeah.
My summits will get you as a speaker up to about a dozen good connections of people who are in a room with you and heard you speak and talk to you and might want to get on your calendar or do something with you. So if that's a thing that serves you, you should speak on one of my summits because that's what it delivers if you engage properly. With my summits, because they're live, the more you're there, you more get out of it. I strongly discourage speakers doing what I call parachute speaking, which is you parachute in, you speak, and you exfil right out of there. The longer you stick around, the more you're there for the breakouts and the chat and the round table discussions and the hot seats and whatnot, the more people are going to get to know you. You know, it's building that know, like, and trust because you're in the room with them. Yeah. And then I always tell people the most valuable call to action you can have is a calendar link because that's something you can really do something with. You know, most things that are into any kind of funnel, your numbers are going to be 10, 20, maybe 30% conversion to the next step. So if you get people to download your ebook, well, 10 people do it. 7 of them actually read it.
Oh, that's good. I was thinking like pre-read it, but
well, 7% of them actually download it.
Okay.
And then about 20% of that is actually going to do whatever the next step is. Well, that's 1.
Yeah.
1 or 2. And then 10% of them are going to convert. Well, now you're under 1. So, but if you invite them to a calendar link and you get them on a call and you have a clear process, then that could really turn into something. I had one speaker on one of my stages apparently made $17,000 off her appearance.
Nice.
Because she had a process and knew what she was doing and had the offer and it was all there. So, know why you want to do it. Now, that said, there is nothing wrong. I love speakers who are like, I have no business plan for this. I have no funnel. I have something I want to share. I have an audience or I have a modest audience and I want to meet other people like me, so I want to come to your summit and share. Cool, that's awesome. I love those speakers. I actually love speakers who don't have that plan because they're not focused on making sure their speech converts. They're focused on making sure their speech gives value. And guess what? The value speeches convert better because as long as you know what the offer is. I've also had plenty of speakers who come in, give a great talk, and have no call to action other than get my freebie or something. So, know why you want to do it. And then find the event that works for you. There are a bazillion events out there. And
including half a bazillion at summits.fun.
yeah, there's quite a few at summits.fun. So if there's anything you don't like about, like say, it charges speakers. I don't charge speakers, and I'm not a fan of charging speakers. My friend Steve Erickson, who runs Event Raptor, which is the software that underlies all of our events, he says he believes that every speaker should pay, but not necessarily with money. So they pay with promotion. Now, there's a few models. One model is that all speakers pay money and then promote. I don't like that because some speakers make $17,000 from appearing on my event and some make zero. And I don't know which is going to be which. So I don't want to charge you all $300 and a bunch of people don't make. But also if I charge you, now you're thinking I got to make that money back. So when you're writing your speech, I got to make that money back. When you're deciding if you want to apply, I got to make that money back. And we've had some amazing speakers. People who get paid $5,000 for a keynote will speak on our summit stages. If I charge a single dollar to speak, he wouldn't show up. Guy gets paid $5,000. He's not going to pay me to speak on my summit stage. So, I don't charge for a variety of reasons, but some do. Some charge, but if you hit a certain promotional target, they refund it. Some don't charge, but if you don't hit the target, they reserve the right to invoice you for your appearance. I've considered adding that, but currently I don't charge at all. And if you don't promote, I just don't invite you back. So that's another way. There's plenty of speakers out there. I've had 170 across my stage so far, and there's thousands more. Anyway, so find the events that fit you. Be in that abundance mindset, not the scarcity mindset. So if you see an event, you're like, I like it, but it's not great because, pass. Look for the next one. There's always another one. There's 5 happening every day of the year.
At least, probably.
Yep. Find one you like. Make sure it fits your audience. Make sure it fits your model. Some people like pre-recorded because they don't want to be live. Some people want to actually meet people and engage with people. So go to the events that make sense for you. And whatever it is you're looking for, there's probably something that matches it. And if it's, as another friend of mine says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So if you look at an event, you're like, I'm not excited by it, but I guess so. No, you're going to have to promote this thing. And that energy comes through. If you're not excited.
Right.
Like Tiffanie, you're excited about Entrepreneur. That's why I said, hey, come on my show and let's promote it. And I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. That energy comes across. Whereas if it's just, yeah, sure, I guess I'll come on your stage or something. Yeah, and I found that too with like my speakers. I want people who are excited to be at the summit. The people who are like, yeah, I guess I'm going to come, trying to build my list. Like, I can feel that.
Right. And so
and the audience can too. And they don't. Now, here's the other thing I'll say is that don't worry about the size of your audience, your list, or anything else. Some summits say a list must be 7,000 plus or whatever. Well, that might not be yours. Or it might be because sometimes it's boilerplate and they don't actually know what they're doing. They just copied it from someone else. But as an organizer who has run 45 summits, and which means I've had 450 speakers, not all unique speakers, but 450 speaker promoters, I have found almost no correlation between list size and promotional results.
Yeah.
I've had people with 40,000 person email lists who couldn't get 10. My summits, the requirement is 10 registrations, which is very low for the industry. But by leaving that bar lower, I can bring in a wider variety of high quality people. And because I run so many and they're so low cost for me to run, it's not as high stakes as if I was running one summit with 20 people per year and they all better be rock stars or else, all the eggs are own basket. But I've had people with 40,000 people on the list who couldn't hit the 10 minimum. I've also had people with no list at all. 2 of them actually are going to be at Epic Legendary Summit. Keep in mind, the Epic Legendary, I went to my spreadsheet of promotion. I sorted by average promotion results and went from the top down. 2 of the 10 are going to be there don't have email lists at all. And both of them, one of them, he just worked his network. Steve Spiro, he's the master connector. And he got 116 people to register by simply going to his network and being like, hey, I'm going to speak at this cool event. You should come. And he just sent out messages to people, I think mostly through LinkedIn. Another one, Toby Staples, she'd never spoken on a summit before January. And so I posted in the Speaker Connections group that Event Raptor runs, and for the Breakthrough Summit. And she was like, hey, I've never spoken on a summit. I don't really have a list, but, can we get on a call and I can tell you about what I do? I said, okay, sure. So I got on the call and I said, go ahead, apply. Let's see what you can do. She got like 39 registrations with no list, just telling her friends. She's excited. It's her first summit. She's telling everybody. And then she got there and she brought the fire. So, I don't worry about how many times you've spoken before. I don't worry about how big your list is. I don't worry about any of that, because you might be the next Toby Staples. You might be someone who, this is your first talk, but all you have is passion, energy, and knowledge. You don't have refinement or strategy or funnels or any of that. You just have passion, energy, and knowledge, which is what I want on the stage more than anything else. I don't care how well you can convert the audience. That doesn't do me any good. I care how well you can serve the audience. And then you take that passion, energy, and focus, you go out to your community and you're like, guys, I'm about to speak here. It's going to be amazing. Got to get in here. And then the people you bring are going to be excited, because it's not just like, come to this event because you'll learn some amazing new tips for how to build a 6-figure business, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be like, I'm super excited. I've got all these awesome people here. I love you. So for me, it's about enthusiasm. There's different events. A lot of the events that I frankly find much less interesting are much more professional. They're built around a strategy of, we're going to bring in this many people, and this many people are going to convert this way with this upsell. And also some events have affiliate shares. So you promote and you get a percentage of the revenue they generate. So it's really more of a launch where you're speaking, which is cool if you have the audience to do that. But going to joint ventures more broadly, of which a summit is a subset, appearing on a podcast or social media live is also a subset of a joint venture. There's no wrong way to do it as long as everyone's on the same page working together. So don't fall into the trap of, you need 50,000 people on your email list to sit down at the table.
Yeah.
There's that strategy, but that strategy is actually not working like it used to. So
and I'm finding there's a lot of things that are not working like they used to. And if we keep trying to do what we've always done, but we expect the same results, that ain't going to happen.
Yep.
So as y'all are listening to this, feel like, okay, let me go check out. Maybe I want to be a speaker. You can go to summits.fun. If you're thinking, maybe I want to attend one of these amazing summits. And also there's the JV Connect event. Those are there at summits.fun. If specifically you're thinking nerdiness is kind of your thing, this is the summit that I will be at with Michael this year. And that is going to be the Entrepreneur Summit happening on August 8th. Now, if people wanted to connect with you, it sounds like LinkedIn you might like a little bit better than Facebook, but they can find you either way, or I'm sure your information is there at summits.fun.
Yep. Yeah, your Facebook's fine. There's a lot of imposters, because Nigerian scammers in 2018 decided they really liked my pictures.
There you go.
They're making a lot of fakes. So make sure it's me and not someone else. So there's that. And you can tell when you look at the content that this account is posting, like, mine's pretty distinctive, and it looks like an opinionated event planning coach with ADHD. You can
there you go. How do you describe Michael Whitehouse? That's how you describe.
Yep, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can find me through Summits.fun. There's a link to book a call, but that's only if you're looking to have me run a summit for you.
And maybe that's a conversation that we'll have to have another day.
Yes, we should definitely have the conversation. Because when I run a summit, you pay me and you show up, and that's all you do as a client. You don't have to do any of the work. I do all the work, because that's
somebody that's run a summit. No.
Yeah, that's one of the big problems in the industry. Is so many things are do it yourself or done with you.
Yeah.
Which means that's just putting more on the client. You've already got enough. So we need more people who it'd be like if I took my car to the shop and they're like, all right, yeah, for $700 we'll fix it, but for $300 we'll give you the tools and we'll tell you what to do. You're gonna break your car. Like, That's crazy. But yet everything in the industry, I paid $10,000 to have someone run a summit for me once. And I had to interview all the speakers. I had to find all the speakers. I found the wrong speakers because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. This is very early on. The summit was a flop because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was expected to find the speakers and interview them and do all this stuff that I was totally unqualified at the time. Now I know how to do it, but then I didn't. And the money was totally wasted. So when I run an event for someone, I run an event for someone. Your job is to show up and look cool and say smart things. And I do everything else. Yes, but I think the best way,
Michael.
Huh?
Give us your last thought there.
Yeah. I think that the best way to connect with me, especially if you're interested in these summits, is come to a summit. So, come to a summit, and then once you're there, you can reach out to me and say, hey, let's get on a call and whatnot. But I can get on a call with you and tell you about what I do, or you can just come to an event. There's one the next Thursday, there's one the Thursday after that, there's one the Thursday after that. Come for an hour. It's free. It's not you have to get your money's worth. Buy it, sign up, come for an hour, check out the event. Then you'll have an idea of what I do instead of me trying to tell you about it. Rather than just, booking a call and then me trying to explain it and go through, just come see it.
Love it. Michael, I want to say thank you so very much for being here today. Again, y'all can check out summits.fund for all kinds of things about Michael. While you're online checking things out, be sure to go to moreabundantentrepreneurs.com/events. We have events every Tuesday from 2:33 till 3:55. That way you have a little bit of space before and after, and the goal is abundance. I will be back with y'all next Tuesday. We're going to be talking about business messaging and a summit that's happening next week that's going on. So we have lots of fun summits happening, lots of things going on. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here and nerding out a little bit, especially about Voyager. Yay. Last week, Carrie Brunton was here. And we were nerding out on the old school Pharaoh computer PC game. So you never know what nerdiness will happen, though. It's always going to be about the abundance. So, Michael, thank you so very much for being here with us.
And I just saw Carrie